Yu-Gi-Oh is one of the most difficult trading card games to get into. With over 10,000 different cards and so many different products to choose from, where do you even begin? Using a budget of just £30 a week, I set out to mould my own deck and climb the competitive ladder all the way to the European Championships. The challenge? All my cards have to be obtained through sealed official products. I'm not allowed to trade, I'm not allowed to buy cards individually, and instead have to rely on the cold, hard luck of the draw. You're watching Yu-Gi-Oh! From scratch. Hello, so this week's been a very exciting week. We kicked things off by going to see Catfish in the Bottomin with my girlfriend. Go! Tell me you've got all you want. 5 and 7 wrong. But on a more Yu-Gi-Oh related note, we also have our first regional this episode. As you know from the intro, our ultimate goal here is to take our deck to the European Championships, and to do that we need to top a regional event and earn an invite. Now, as someone who lives in the northeast of Scotland, the amount of regionals I can attend, or at least afford to attend, is limited. So out of the 80 odd UK regionals that are being hosted, I've compiled a list of all the ones that are happening in Scotland and therefore I should be able to go to. As you can see, we have 6 different attempts to get our invite for Euros, and it's spread over a decent amount of time as well, so I'm pretty confident that we have plenty of time to get our decks sorted. Also, with the series being expensive enough to run already as it is, when you kind of add in all the travels and saving for Euros and nationals and stuff, it gets a little bit expensive, so I thought it would be a good idea to start a Patreon. While I don't actually mind whether anyone donates or not, having that option for people to support the channel allows me to work harder on improving the series and hopefully eventually upgrade my equipment, because right now I'm working with a broken laptop and a 7-year-old headset. So the link will be in the description for that. There should be some cool little benefits in return, so you're not really just throwing your money away, but everything's appreciated, man. So, you're probably wondering what we're going to be opening today, but the truth is, you already know. That's right, a couple of weeks ago I asked you guys what you wanted to see me open in episode 7, and over 3,000 of you voted in this poll, and almost 50% voted for the Tempest tin. I guess you lot just want a little bit of nostalgia, hey? If you didn't see this poll, then chances are you probably haven't subscribed and hit the notification bell. So, not suggesting anything here, but you should probably go do that. Now, the packs in this tin you can actually pull ghost rares from because they're that old, and I've never actually pulled a ghost rare in my life, so if we could do that on camera as well, oh my god, that would just be incredible. So let's go give it a try, shall we? Right, so I picked up the tin off of eBay for £25, and then to round off our budget, there's 2 packs of Chaos Impact for the extra £5. World Championship 2014. Huh. I think we missed it. So this is really the only card we got this tin for, but it is a pretty card. It's a bit warped as well, sadly, so I'll have to try and flatten that with books. Thunder Seahorse next up here, followed by Gear Gigant X. Black Ship of Corn, super rare. It's actually a good option for time, but we do have Scarlight, which is just better in every way, so there's no point in playing this. And rank up Magic Barion's Force. So pretty cool, man. Pretty nostalgic. So moving on to the packs here, we have 2 Shadow Spectres, 1 Judgment of the Light, and 2 Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy. And I actually really miss the old Megatins, man, because having different packs to open, it's so much more fun rather than having 3 Megatin packs. Also, with Altis and Ghosts being a thing in main sets, it was just so much more exciting to open every pack. I forget how much harder these old packs were to open because, man, this one pack's been giving me trouble. Right, let's see what we got here, this blast from the past. So we have Maliciverous Fork, Ghostrix Stein, Yellow-Bellied Oni, Mecha Phantom Beast Starehawk, I think, Vampire Duke for the rare, and Grandmarg the Mega Monarch, a secret rare, which is actually really cool because in these old packs, holos aren't guaranteed, so they're much harder to pull, and the fact that we got a secret rare already is really, really nice. Moving on here, it was actually the initial release of Shadow Spectres that me and my friend used to play on Dueling Network, and I used to play like this weird zombie vampire deck, so seeing some of these cards crop up again is giving me a nice warm feeling inside. So Chow Chow Chan, Baby Raccoon Ponpoko, Bujingi Boar. For the rare we have Giganticastle, and another holo, we got Super number 46 Dragluon, which is pretty cool. Oh look, we also got the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent from the original set, so that's pretty awesome. I think I might play that one instead of the other one we got. Curious whether this thing's worth teching in, because there is a common in Chaos Impact that basically just turbos out a rank 8 dragon, and this fits the bill but the effect is pretty damn useless, so I'm not sure if it's worth it. Our singular pack of Judgment of the Light. Hoping to keep up our holo streak here. If we can get a holo out of every pack, that would be pretty nuts. So we have Star Seraph Scout. This thing that reminds me of the Dark Souls, what is it, Massive Souls enemy. For the rare, we have Artorias from Dark Souls as well, and an Ultra Cock-a-Doodle-Doo. Oh man, we are just tanking the holos today. So we've had a Super, a Secret, and an Ultra so far. Let's try and get one of every rarity. So an Ulti and a Ghost coming up. You heard it here first. Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy. So Tempest actually comes as a rare in this pack. So if we pull another one, that'll be pretty interesting. I think the Baby Dragon Ruler also comes in this set that can special Tempest from deck. So that could be interesting if we do pull it. I'm not sure yet though. Ooh, we got Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, which was so good back in the day. You know, I've always been a fan of Harpies. You probably know this from one of the previous episodes where I mentioned them, but yeah. Mind Drain's actually a pretty sweet pool as well, even though it's just a common, but flipping that against like Salamangreat, that could do quite a lot of damage. And the final pack of the Megatin, regardless of what we pull, I'm happy because it's been a really fun opening and really nostalgic, and it's something different, you know? Even when we're not really looking for anything out of these sets for the deck. Right, so Battling Boxer Glassjaw, Little Fairy, Memory Loss, Shark Fortress, Tetherwolf, and oh yo, I see the border, we got an ulti Harpy Channeler. Oh my god. Yes. I actually just sold my own playset recently, so getting this is awesome because it's like a little souvenir, you know? And a bunch of commons. Now, I don't actually know what the ratios are for ultis in these packs, so if anyone knows, then please let me know in the comments, because I am super happy with this Channeler. It looks so nice. Now, I suppose we better move on to Chaos Impact. Now, I think the card I need most out of here right now is the Galaxy Satellite Dragon, the Link 2, because it replaces Booster Dragon and just makes our combos so much more consistent. Obviously, there's a lot of much better cards that we will need towards the future, like Striker Dragon, but for now, the Link 2 is all I can ask for. Jelly Cannon's actually not a terrible card. I'm not sure if it's worth playing, but it can have its uses. Now, for the final pack of today's budget opening, obviously we'll still have prize packs from locals and then the entry packs from the regional, but we got another Jelly Cannon and Unchained Abomination, which is actually a card I really wanted to pick up because it just synergizes so nicely with Rocket's destruction effects and it's so fun to play. If you read its effect, it basically just says destroy this, destroy that, destroy everything. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's opening, which I've really enjoyed. Now, before we head down to Edinburgh, we're going to get a little bit of practice done at locals, and then after locals, I'll show you my list that I'm going to play at the regional, and we'll take it from there. Right, so round 1 we ended up winning the dice roll against True Draco and making him go first. He sets 3 and passes it back to us, which really isn't the scariest of Draco boards. The thing is, they don't need to make a scary board when Tikaboo basically wins the game. He didn't actually see a monster for like 4 or 5 turns, so I just kept punching him with Tracer until I nearly killed him, but then he brought it back and yeah, there's nothing I could do. My favourite play was actually mind controlling Dynamite and then Tribute setting Absorouter with 28 defense because I know Draco struggles to get over big numbers, but Apocalypse, seen to that. Game 2, I side in my reboots and I make him go first again. I drop a Ghost Ogre on his diagram, which actually really hurt him, so he ended on a board of just Ignis and 1 back row. My hand isn't great, but we can make it work. So I activate Dragon Shrine to send Absorouter to grave, and then add Tracer off Absorouter's effect. Normal summon Tracer, link into LP, and then bring back Tracer with World Legacy Guard Dragon. So we can at least combo off from here and get a decent board, but when I activate the effect to move the zones of LP, he chains True King's Return. This allows him to tribute summon Maiden on my turn, and then because Return was sent to the graveyard in a new chain, he can target one of my monsters and destroy them, so he targets LP. This forces me to chain the effect of Tracer, popping my own LP to get the summon from deck, which in turn allows his Maiden to get a search for Dynamite. Just for the record, I hate True Draco, man. So from here I realise that Cyber's Quantum Dragon clears his board, but I also have Dragon's Mirror in hand, so I get a little bit greedy. The plan is to summon Furious Dragon to the extra monster zone and then move it with World Legacy Guard Dragon so that I can then synchro summon into Cyber's Quantum Dragon. But after activating Dragon's Mirror, I realise that I've already activated the effect of World Legacy Guard Dragon, and therefore I am stuck. Fuck. So I clear his board anyway, and then on his turn I activate the effect of Furious to pop a diagram, but he has Terraforming, so of course he gets to Apocalypse, clears my board, and then on my turn, flips there can be only 1, so yeah, take the L. Round 2, we're up against Demise Strikers, this exact same list as Pascal from YCS London. I forgot to start the recording as we started, so it's a little bit into game 1. As you can see, I have a Scarlight plus 1 card in hand, and it's his turn. He's already resolved Demise, so he ends on a board of Ray plus 4 back row. In a competitive environment, if you're in this situation, you definitely just scoop and go to game 2, but because we're at locals, I decided to play it out. Jumping straight into the battle phase, I declare an attack over Ray to bait out its effect, which he does, and links into Kaina. This stops me from attacking over the Kaina, so I go straight to main phase 2 and activate the effect of Scarlight to wipe the board, which baits out a Widow Anchor. Now using the last 2 cards in my hand, I make a Time Thief Redoer and pass it back to him. And then on the standby phase, I take the top card of his deck, which is a spell. He flips Jamming Waves to deal with Scarlight, and then I draw a card with Redoer before it gets beat over with Shizuku, just because he has enough spells in grave. After activating a Shark Cannon on Tracer, he passes it back to us, and I have World Legacy Guard Dragon and Twin Twisters in hand. The Shark Cannon really limited my combo potential here, and essentially won the game. So I start with World Legacy Guard Dragon to just bring back a random rocket, link into LP, and then move it so it's pointing to the same zone as Shizuku. From there, I summon Red MD from deck, and then activate the effect of Red MD to revive Absorouter. The reasoning for Absorouter is because when I link it off, I get a search, which then makes my 20s live. I could have actually just normaled the Tracer here and went for Borrowload Savage or something, but I decided that I was too scared of the back row and so just activated 20s instead. In the end, it wasn't enough because he had Engage plus a Shizuku search, so he ended up Shark Cannoning my Scarlight back and just popping off. Game 2, we make him go first again, and I think his hand sucked because he ends on 1 back row plus Shizuku, and we ash this Shizuku. I start by activating Dragon's Ravine, and then I normal summon Tracer, activating its effect to pop Ravine to special from deck. However, he changed the Cyclone to banish my Ravine, therefore I don't get the effect. All my other plays are kind of mediocre, so I don't want to overcommit to the board, and instead I just set 120s and pass it back. He just goes straight to the battle phase and tries to crash Shizuku into Tracer, so instead of me losing a monster as well, I chain Tracer's effect targeting himself to special summon a beefier rocket from deck. The attack still goes through, so he gets Ray in Graveyard and then links into Hayate to attack directly and dumps Engage. Main phase 2, Kagari fetches back the Engage, and he searches for Widow Anchor and misplays quite heavily. He activates the Widow Anchor with just 2 spells in grave, so it essentially does nothing.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He sets 1 and passes, and then I combo off until he eventually scoops. Game 3, he goes first again, and we drop a Cherries for Hayate, but it gets called by the Graved. I just want to flex the ulti, man. He ends on Shizuku plus 3 back row, and there's a lot we can do. I combo off a fair bit with no response, so that worries me a little bit. I start trying to play into things. I synchro into Cyber's Quantum, which gets compulsed, fair enough. Quick Launch gets me an extra link material, and then I link into Delingerous Dragon and synchro for Borrowload Savage, which gets hit by the Widow Anchor. Passing there, he attacks over the Delingerous and then Shark Cannons it to make Ningirsu, which allows me to summon Phantasme, but sadly I draw into Dragon's Ravine and Red MD, so I shuffle back Dragon's Ravine, get my board cleared, and then top deck Twin Twisters for turn, and then time gets called, so we take the L again. Round 3, we're against Magnet Warriors, which is a bit of a change, and we win the die roll, so we're going second. He ends on a board of 3 Magnet Warriors plus 1 back row, which ends up being Artifact Sanctum. So we get Scythed, we're locked out of the extra deck. All I can do now is just build a little wall and hope he can't kill me. And it turns out he couldn't kill me, so I got all my float effects during the end phase, built a big board, and there was just no coming back from that. We got game 1. Game 2, he chooses to go second, and I know this is far from optimal, but...
Quick launch? Sure. Quick launch? Yeah. Quick launch? Okay.
So quite obviously, we comboed off and ended on Borrowload, Red MD, Borrowload Savage with 2 counters, and we set Guard Dragon Cataclysm for good measure as well. During the end phase, we got a float effect for another rocket, which is essentially just Cataclysm fodder, and long story short, he couldn't play through it. Savage negates the effect of his Doki Doki, and then he transmodifies it into a Magnet Warrior, which then specials another Magnet Warrior from deck. He activates Ties of the Brethren, paying 2,000, but then I chain Cataclysm to pop his 2 targets, and that's game. Surprise! Today we actually had 4 rounds, so we are up against Column Control Mech Knights. We win the dice roll and we choose second, And honestly, I wish there was a lot more to say about this match, because both games were exactly the same. Both games he ended on Morningstar plus Secrets and Whispers in the back row, and both games I opened Twin Twisters plus basically OTK combo. Game 2 I guess his board was a little bit better because he had an additional back row plus Avram, but check this out.
Don't hate me.
Oh my god, you asshole!
So after doing hella damage, I ended on Abomination, Tracer, and a set Solemn Strike. Just because I wanted to get Abomination out on the first day we got him, you know? So yeah, our final record for locals is 2-2. We also have some prize packs, and then we're off to Edinburgh. Right, so locals is falling a little bit behind on prize support, so we got 2 packs of Soul Fusion today. And I'm not sure if there's a whole lot we want out of here. I suppose Levianeer would be really good, and Common Pankratops as well. But we have Gravekeeper Spiritualist, Diana the Light Spirit, Galaxy Cleric, Noble Night Trap, World Dino Wrestling, Giant Ballpark, Consolation Prize, and ooh, okay, we got Ultra Thunder Dragonhawk, which is not a bad pull, honestly. 1 card closer to starting Sealed Only Thunder Dragons, am I right? Oh god, yeah, that's not happening. Right, so pack number 2. Let's see what we got here. Right, Orchestrated Einsatz. Okay, we got Dragostapelia. I think we already have the Ultra though. Incantation Pensaplume, Salomon Great Jack Jaguar, World Legacy World Wand, Agav Dragon, the Nordic thingy, Fright for Patchwork, and Noble Knight Evian, super rare. Okay, so nothing too useful there. It's about what I expected, honestly. Okay, so moving on here to the deck list, just real quick. I never actually got time to film my list before Edinburgh, so we're just having to make do with the pictures I have. The main deck's not changed a whole lot. I did cut out Background Dragon just because I kept seeing it too often and it's just a dead card in hand. I think it's worth noting that I do not expect to do well at this regional at all with this list. Like, for real, I will be happy if we even get just 2 wins. Like, remember, the whole point of me going down here is to get a more accurate idea of what our deck's missing, just so I know what exactly I should aim to open to boost our deck efficiently. I did swap Redoer out for Dweller because I feel like Dweller's just really good for this meta, but I'm not sure if we're actually going to be able to get it out consistently enough. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Let's do this.
Oh, there we go. I got it. Nice. You got it? Yeah. I need a piss. Right.
So, we ended up coming 62nd with a 3-4 record. That's actually not terrible, and I learned a lot about the deck. Something I absolutely need right now is Nightmare Phoenix, because otherwise I have to rely on Twin Twisters to out things like Zombie World and Rivalry, and then there can be only one as well. Also, the lack of OTK potential means I'm losing out on games that I should really be able to steal, so Boral Sword or Utopia Double is definitely high on the list. Whenever I was able to combo, I did actually win, but the amount of times I was able to combo was very, very low. Most of the time with like a well-timed interruption, I was basically just having to end on Scarlight and that was it. And quite often I found myself in a situation where I could synchro summon for Abyss, but I didn't have him. So now I know exactly what I should be opening over the next couple of weeks to bring our deck closer to the regional level. And interestingly, I only got super polyed twice. I don't even think I got Nibiru'd because every time my opponent did have it, I didn't summon 5 times. But yeah, Paisley Regional is on the 23rd of November, so that should be episode 9. That one will have a lot more emphasis on the regional because this one was just a kind of trial run that I didn't really expect to go anywhere. But hopefully you enjoyed it nonetheless. If you've made it this far, kudos to you, you absolute legends. If you could remember and smash the like button, that would be appreciated, and I will see you next Thursday.
Gravel road, I've been asked to slow down. Fireplace, do you know how? Piles of paper, my desk is out.